Boxing Truth here. Let me talk a little bit about Chris Eubank Jr. as he prepares for his biggest fight of his career, the most significant, most important fight of his professional career. A legitimate step up, not a hand-picked opponent, not a tailor-made opponent that Eubank has been feasting on since the loss of Billy Joe Saunders. We're finally going to get some answers this Saturday in the semifinal of the World Boxing Super Series in the super middleweight tournament. Eubank, he's been considered either a glorified showcase fighter, hype job, that really is more just hype than substance, looks good on the heavy bag, looks good against stationary targets, but can you land those same combinations and those sharp punches that he throws on those mitts? Can he do the same thing against more elusive targets, more against better opposition that he's been fighting thus far? That is a question about Junior, and finally he's being matched with an opponent that's going to provide some movement, that's going to provide distance in George Groves. It's his first legitimate world title shot for a recognized strap, a WBA super middleweight title on the line. I'm not liking the build up to this fight, not in terms of the entertainment value or the trash talk involved between both fighters. I'm not liking it because everything points to George Groves winning the fight. The thing about Eubank is he's not getting quality sparring for this fight. He's not getting top sparring, and he's been doing the same process for a number of bouts, getting confidence with these nobodies, these guys with no name recognition, haven't accomplished nothing in the sport. So he's pretty much getting his confidence by beating up on heavy bags in the gym, which is all good and all for confidence building, but it's a false sense of confidence. He also has no trainer. He's pretty much training himself. He has no guidance. He has no one that tells him whether he's doing something wrong, whether he's fucking up his training regimen. When it comes to his training, I mean, he's a hard-working fighter. He has a great work ethic. He puts the work in the gym. Some may say he overtrains, that he does a little too much in the gym. Should take some breathers now and then. Should recover his body. So there's nothing about Junior's work ethic, but it's his stubbornness that he thinks he can do it all by himself. Kovalev was the same way, and that's the only thing Andre Ward had the edge on him in their fights. He had the better team around him. He had a better cornerman. He had someone to motivate him when the going got tough, and that's why it's better to have a coach or a motivator in your corner. So to when the going that gets tough, you have an extra pair of eyes that could look out after you. Because when you're in the ring, you don't see everything. You see some things, but you may miss a thing or two that your extra set of pair of eyes may see outside the ring. And that's what's needed in Junior's corner. That's what's needed in his camp. That's what's missing in his camp. And also, sparring these big-ass bombs in the gym ain't going to really help much either. I mean, why is he not getting top sparring? Why is he not, inviting world-class fighters to his gym? It's going to cost some money. It's going to cost some expenses to get these, get some top quality sparring to spar with you, but it's worth the investment. You shouldn't be sparring these no-hopers all the time. I mean, this guy, he spars all the fucking time. I mean, what exactly does this big-ass bum do for him? Nothing. The only thing he does good, the only thing that's good, that what he's getting out of it, is a false sense of confidence. He's getting confidence dipping and dodges this guy's punches and banging him with uppercuts. But it does nothing in terms of making him a better fighter. You got to get in there with the top dogs on occasion. You got to have some quality sparring to prepare for tough fights. similar to, you know, what other guys are doing. Even prospects are getting top quality sparring in their step up fights. But Junior is content with sparring these big ass bums, sparring the same guys, where the only thing he's accomplishing is just gaining confidence. But it's a false sense of confidence. And he has no guidance in his corner, doing everything on his own. Just has a bunch of hype men around him, has a mitt man, and he has his father's wisdom. That's it. So, a lot concerns me about this fight for Junior. I'm riding with Junior no matter what because he's my guy. I like his style. I like what he brings to the table. I think he could be a big star. But he needs to see the light when it comes to his camp, his sparring. How is he going to become a better prize fighter? It's not all about just conditioning. You got to work on your skill set. You got to work on other things. You got to work on your jab. You need to test yourself in the gym instead of just feasting on these nobodies in sparring. It does nothing for him. And on the other hand, George Groves, he's been fully rehabilitated. Yeah, he's been knocked out, but he has a good team around him. He has an extra pair of eyes in Shane McGowan. A top trainer who's been involved with numerous world-class fighters. So he has the edge in that department. He's also the bigger guy, much naturally bigger. He's a big super middleweight. He's the only battle-tested one here. He's the experienced one, and he's still relatively young at only 29 years of age. So the build-up to the fight, everything points to Groves winning this fight, since he's the A side, he's the recognized champ, and his promoter, Soderlund, is pretty much the promoter of the World Boxing Super Series. And yet, Junior is still the slight betting favorite in this fight. So obviously the bookies feel that he's improved enough and is good enough to take this leap up in competition, to take this step up. That he's improved enough, fresh enough, young enough, confident enough. The work rate, the conditioning, the combinations will be enough to at least get a decision against George Groves. But I know Junior is going to be in shape for this fight. He's going to be confident, coming off the wins over his best opponents to date, but tailor-made opponents, guys that come forward, that don't provide much special effects, that pretty much go into his wheelhouse. And now he's going to be dealing with a completely different style in George Groves, who's not a pressure fighter. He's a tricky boxer that likes to set you up with traps, has a good jab, better jab than Junior's. But we'll see who's the bigger puncher of the two, who has the better chin, and who's ready to take this task and move on to the finals of the Super Series. I still have my doubts that even if Junior wins this fight, that he's going to go all the way to the finals. I still think he's going to pull out eventually if he beats George Groves, because I think this is the main objective here of why Eubank stepped into this tournament. And of course, the mastermind, his father as well, the goal was to get the big fight with Groves, get his strap, pull out, and then fight whoever he wants to fight in the super middleweights or middleweight divisions. But I really don't envision Eubank fighting Brammer or Callum Smith. But we'll see what happens next Saturday in the semifinals of the World Boxing Super Series. But from the outside looking in, I'm not liking Junior's chances going in. I see it as a very competitive fight, to where it's going to be a life and death struggle. But I'll do a breakdown of the fight in another video But right now, Junior's getting no quality sparring and a false sense of confidence and no guidance heading into the most important fight of his career. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.